Well, hello everybody. Just doing a short live here today. We're going to do a little cooking video. Crockpot Express, or what some of you might call Instant Pot. It's a Crockpot version of it. We're going to do some quick and easy spaghetti and meatballs. How's everybody doing today? Please be sure that you do have a picture and are active in the chat to stay in. And tap the screen of like for me. So we're going to use readily available ingredients. It's quick and easy. Nothing fancy. Simple cooking. The ingredients are going to be frozen meatballs, regular thin spaghetti, and jarred sauce. Quick and easy, no need to doctor it up. We're going to cook by the KISS method. Keep it short and simple. So we're using the Crockpot Express over here, which you can see. I'm going to kind of turn the camera here so you can see it. And when I have the camera at this angle, I can't really see the screen very well, so bear with me. And I'm not going to really take any participants in here except by audio. And I do ask that if you do come in, you be respectful, okay? So I'm going to use my very technical opening device here. And what I like to do is just lay down a layer of meatballs with my impeccably clean hands in the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to go ahead and do a whole pound of spaghetti. That way I'll have it for my lunch tomorrow. And I'm just doing just a few good handfuls of meatballs. Just enough to cover the bottom of the cooking pot. So this bag of meatballs from Walmart, which is 3 pounds, was less than $7. And then, since the long spaghetti will not fit in the pressure cooker, and you don't want to just dump it in clumps, because otherwise it will become just a brick. So I take about half at a time. Like so. And I just break it in half. So now I've got short spaghetti. I just want to take it, and I'm flipping my hand around to fan it out to kind of scatter it into the pot. How do you like if I did that either hand, right-handed or left-handed? And we just repeat the process till we got it all in there. A lot of people think a pressure cooker is only good for cooking meat or things like that, but I boil eggs in mine, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just continuing the process of scattering it around. And I might get it all in there, I might not. I've got it pretty full now, so I got about 2/3 of that pound in there. And I'll lift the pot out and bring it over so y'all can see what it looks like. So I still had that much left in the box, and so we'll seal that and save for later. And what I do is I always shake my sauce up. And I'm going to pour it over my pasta. And waste not, want not. I rinse the jar out with about 1/3 of a jar of water. Put the lid back on and give her a shake. Good to the last drop. And again, just add that to the pot. And there's our jar, clean as a whistle. We'll wash that out and save it to use. Everybody follow me so far? Pretty complicated, huh? Put our lid on. Turn the lock. Make sure that our vent is closed. And doesn't really have a pasta setting. So what I'm going to do is just use the multigrain, and I'm going to cut the timer down. I'm on high pressure to 12 minutes. Hit start, and that is as complicated as it gets. No, actually you don't need to cook the noodles first, and I'll prove it to you. Because with the sauce, it will actually cook, because of the steam and the pressure inside there, the noodles will be cooked perfectly al dente in 12 minutes. Watch and be amazed. Thank you for the lightning bolt. Please feel free to like and share. The more the merrier. Actually not too bad, because I only added just a little bit of water to it. And you can always add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and that will help to thicken the sauce back up as well. So thank you for the likes, and please like and share, anybody who would like to. One thing I learned is never trust a restaurant with a skinny chef. So, how's everybody doing this Wednesday? Coming up on the end of March already, can you believe it? Like the one frog said to the other frogs, at times fun when you're having flies. I've not made lasagna in the Instapot, but I do make it the traditional way, and mine is 11 layers. Mine's about that thick. I do a lot of smoke cooking. I've got an electric smoker that I'm going to be working on modifying with an insulation on the outside. I've got the material, just got to get out and do it. And I do in the Instapot, I do macaroni and cheese. I use the Barilla Celentani, which is a spiral, the thick wall spiral pasta. Not like a regular spiral, but it actually is the pasta tubes that spiral. And I use medium and sharp cheddar cheese and a little bit of milk and salt and pepper. And I actually I do pre-cook the pasta in here with that. I cook it for about 14 minutes, drain it, and then just turn the Instapot completely off, add my cheese and my milk and my seasonings, and stir it, and the residual heat is enough to melt it and cook it through. Then if you want to, you can put it in a baking dish and bake it either in the regular oven, or I have a air fryer small countertop oven that I use. So, what's some of the things y'all cook in your Instapot or pressure cookers? Anything you'd like to see? I do hard-boiled eggs. I make a killer homemade apple butter in that thing. This weekend I'm going to actually, in the cast iron skillet, I'm going to make some maple glazed pecans. So welcome to everybody. Where's everybody from? Can you comment where you're from? I'm in East Central Ohio, a town called Pataskala. I do pulled pork. I do shredded chicken, like the old shredded chicken sandwiches. I do roast beef with potatoes and carrots. I can't have onions or peppers because I'm deathly allergic to them. But I've learned to use other herbs and spices for my seasoning. And if anybody likes to barbecue or likes spice rubs, there's a company called Musket Powder, M-U-S-K-E-T. That's a veteran-owned company that makes really good spice rubs. And they're really good about sending coupons if you sign up for email for like free shipping or things like that. I think they have 5 different flavors, maybe more by now. So I make my own spice rub, and I've got a video on my channel about how to do that. But I do keep some of that mixed up. And that's what this is. And it is sweet paprika, kosher salt, garlic powder, black pepper, white pepper, and ground cumin. I was in from 1976 to 1982. This Veterans Day will be 47 years ago that I enlisted. And I joined the reserves in high school, and then I went active in 77, graduated high school, vocational school, basic training, and jet mechanic school, all 4 within 8 months, and I turned 18 in boot camp. Served active from 77 to 81, and then got my discharge in 82. Went back to the reserves, got my discharge. So if there's any veterans in there, today is National Vietnam Veterans Day, by the way, so if you know a Vietnam vet, thank them. Morning. Is that Brett Harrell? If I butcher the name, sometimes I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, so I apologize. Well, appreciate that. Yeah, this is the first live I've done. Well, I did a live last Saturday from the Air Force Museum. I went over just to do a live, didn't volunteer, and had 1,446 viewers. And I haven't got it split into parts to put on here yet, but I do have the full video on my YouTube channel, which is at Bill_H. And speaking of the Air Force Museum, April the 8th, if any of you are in the Ohio area, just this and maybe going outside and getting my insulation on my smoker, plans for the day, and doing some general cleaning. April the 8th at the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, which is the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. Anybody that's in the area or will be, we're going to have an Easter egg hunt for the kids that day from 10 to 4. We're open 9 to 5. It's going to be free. Admission is free. And we're going to have stations throughout the museum where the kids can get candy. And I'll be over working that day, so anybody that's in the area that has little ones or grandkids or friends with kids, spread the word and come over to the Air Force Museum at 1100 Spatz Drive, S-P-A-A-T-Z, in Dayton, Ohio, on the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and bring the little ones for the Easter egg hunt. This week through Sunday, they're actually having Kite Week, K-I-T-E. You can take your kite during the museum hours and go out on the big field in front of the museum and fly a kite. And it's neat to be able to fly it with some of the outside airplanes like the F-104 Starfighter. It's on a pillar or different aircraft in the background, and then you can go inside the museum and have a good time while you're there. The museum's the oldest and largest military aviation museum on Earth, and we take no taxpayer dollars. We're funded solely by donations raised through the Museum Foundation. We do sell tickets for the IMAX theater at the museum, the simulators, and we do have a temporary exhibit with a ropes course that they are charging for. But otherwise, admission to the museum is free. If you have mobility issues, we do provide free strollers for the little ones, manual wheelchairs, and power scooters for those that need them. So, any other veterans in here besides me? Speak up if you are. I'd like to acknowledge you. I was a jet mechanic in the Navy. I ran the transient line at Naval Air Station Meridian, Mississippi, which means if it came into the base and wasn't attached to the base, I worked on it. And I was there for 3.5 years out of 4 years active. And when I got out, I was qualified to work on 80 different types of airplanes, everything from little O2 Cessnas, which are a piston-driven Cessna Skymaster with 2 engines, all the way up to C-5 Galaxies. Helicopters, Harriers. Worked on the early A-10s, worked on Tomcats, A4s, T2s, E2s. Thank you, I appreciate that. What kind of guitar do you play, Pablo? I play a Blue Ridge BR-140 Vintage, which is equivalent to a Martin D18. You can hear that boiling now. It's already reached the boil inside there. And burbling, burbling, burbling. Excuse me one second. I'm going to go ahead and put these meatballs back in the freezer. So, y'all wait here and I'll be back in just a second. So this is a small apartment in a senior complex. I waited 2 years to get into here. I play mandolin, guitar, hammered dulcimer, mountain dulcimer, fiddle, bass, baritone ukulele, guitar ukulele, play the bowed psaltery, play the harmonica, the Irish penny whistle, the Celtic drum, the baron. Never took a lesson on any instrument, but while I was on active duty, I did go to Mississippi State Branch and studied classical voice. I used to sing opera. I've had my own bluegrass band. I do karaoke. Some of them do. Yeah. Hey, what does a bluegrass musician do when he wins the lottery? Anybody know? He keeps playing gigs till the money runs out. Well, I actually have 28,000 songs in my karaoke library. I used to have a ministry where I'd go to nursing homes and do shows, and I'm thinking about starting that back up. We were called Gloryland Karaoke. I do a lot of Randy Travis, Brad Paisley, Neil Diamond, let's see, Johnny Cash. I do the classic country. Basically anything but rap or hip hop. Hey, you too. Thanks for stopping in, Brett. And if you don't follow me, please feel free to follow me. Oh, yeah. How do you know when a banjo player is knocking at your front door? He keeps knocking faster and faster and doesn't know when he's supposed to come in. Now you can hear it's hissing now, so it's going to be up to pressure pretty quick. And sometimes I tinker with the seal there to make it seal, but it should seal up. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Worst I ever got hurt in the Navy was I had a hernia. There, she sealed up. And then I was underneath an A4 one time, dragging a pressure hose between the main gear to go to either side, or gravity hose, and I raised up and hit my head on the bomb rack, and I wasn't wearing a cranial helmet, and I split my head, got 17 stitches, clear down to the skull. And the pilot who left his flight gear under the aircraft yelled at me because I got blood on his flight gear, and that was kind of the least of my worries, because when you split your scalp, there's a lot of blood vessels there, and I couldn't see anything, so we took what we call canopy wipes, which are big nylon reinforced paper towels about 11 by 14, and folded them up, made a compress, and they got me up to the line shack till the ambulance came, because I couldn't see anything. All I could see was red. But by the grace of God, I survived. I worked on some scary airplanes, the A7 Corsair II, the A6E and EA6B Prowler, the E2 Hawkeye. Those were all scary aircraft to start because of the position of the air hoses that you used to start the engines. On the E2, when you want to disconnect the air hose, I actually was never on a boat except for detachments going out to the Lexington for training. Otherwise, I was shore-based. We were at Naval Air Station Meridian. We were Comtray Wing 1, which meant we were training pilots. And at that time, we weren't flying the T-45 Goshawk like they're flying now for both primary and advanced. We had T-2C Buckeyes and TA-4J Skyhawks that we had. Two Buckeye squadrons and one Skyhawk squadron. VT-9, 19, and VT-7. Timer just went off for the pressure cooker, so 12 minutes now. When I took my ASVAB, and while I was in high school, they wanted me to go on submarines. I said, I'm not going on any boat you build to sink. I just ain't going to do it. So I went Airedale. I went the other way. And my very best friend that I served with for 3.5 years, I've known him since June of 1978. And he lives in Massachusetts now. He stayed in various branches of the service and did 38 years, or 32 years. And he's back down in Mississippi where we were stationed at turkey hunting for 2 weeks. And then this summer he has a pilot's license, and he and his son-in-law share an aircraft. He's going to fly down again. He came down 2 years ago. So we're going to fly down this time for, I think, five days, and we're going to just hang out and share memories, just go fishing, and just go do crazy stuff. I'm mobility challenged. I have neuropathy, so I've got no feeling below the knees, so I walk with 2 canes or a walker 95% of the time. And then if I'm at work, at the museum, or at Sam's Club where I work at, or out for the day, I use my power wheelchair. So I've got no sense of balance. Plus, I've got no cartilage left in either knee. Some of the things I've done in my life, at the Ohio State Fair, they've got a 15-foot tall Smokey Bear that talks to the kids about fire safety. And I was about 5 the first time I saw him. He's been there since '64. I volunteered with Ohio Division of Forestry for 25 years and did the voice for 21 years. We talked about 3,000 kids every year during the fair, and I knew them all by name. And when I retired from that in 2019, a young lady who was then, I think, 17, came up. I was out front. They had a little ceremony, gave me a plaque. She came up, and she had gotten to know me over the years, and she said, Bill, said, it won't be the same. So you've talked to me since I was 3 years old. And coming up here and not hearing your voice, it won't be the same. And she actually made me cry right there in front of all those people. And, being at the Air Force Museum volunteering, this is my 3rd year doing that. I've had people, as I've been going through the museum, that have recognized my voice from Smokey Bear. They say, "Are you on the radio? What station are you on?" I say, "Well, I don't do radio, but," and we get to talk, and I ask if they know the fair, and most of them recognize my voice from from hearing me do Smokey up there all those years ago. One of my favorite memories was the little girl that stopped to tie her shoes, and I said, "Will you make sure my shoes are tied while you're down there?" And she says, "Smokey, you don't have any shoes." I said, "I don't. I mean, I have bare feet?" And all the grown-ups groaned. I said, "I know, my jokes are unbearable. I can barely stand to tell them." So my philosophy is, if I get a laugh or a groan, as long as you don't throw a rotten fruit, it's a good joke. So where is everybody from? Any other Buckeyes in here? Anybody recognize the name Woody Hayes? Probably the greatest Ohio State coach ever and one of the greatest football coaches ever. That was actually my cousin. Hi, Chris. Hi, Dave. Nick. Down to 9 minutes on the timer. Once that kicks off, I let it go for about 4 minutes under natural release to release the pressure some. So, are there any other recipes you guys would like to see? If you want to see more of my cooking videos, I do have them on my YouTube channel, which is at Bill_H. Would love to have you go and subscribe to that. I'd like to get the subscriber count up on that channel. I have cooking videos. I have dad joke videos, museum videos, karaoke music videos, singing. People say, "I can't sing karaoke. I'm scared. I'm shy." I said, "Well, number one rule to karaoke is bob and weave, because it's hard to hit a moving target. Just keep moving." I appreciate you all taking time today to stop in here with me and hang out. Just watch me act a fool, even though it's not that big of an act. I'm just an old country boy, so. Hi, Parker. Alf. Epic. Chris, good to see you. So please tap the screen, throw some likes up there. I sure be grateful, and feel free to share. Oh, bless your heart. That's very gracious of you, and I appreciate that. And I know bless your heart can be used as an insult, but I mean it in a grateful way there. I'm from Southeast Ohio. I'm originally from Marietta. I say if it wasn't for the Ohio River and Front Street, I'd be a West Virginian. But being stationed in Meridian, Mississippi for 3.5 years, I learned to speak Southern. That's why I say pecan instead of pecan. And I learned important rules like the word y'all is singular and the plural is all y'all. So, is that pronounced Ligmanus, or where are you from, Lig? Or Lige? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Hi, Social. Hi, Steve. So I just do this for fun, just to, if I can make somebody laugh or bring a smile to somebody's face, then my day's complete. Iowa, okay. I follow a lot of farming channels out there in Iowa and Minnesota and Montana. Welker Farms, Larson Farms, Millennial Farmer, How Farms Work. I'm an old country boy. So you can take the boy off the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the boy. So I learned to drive on a 1941 Farmall A, and of course I can't get up onto it anymore, but my cousin, who's in Missouri, came last year and picked it up, took it. It was a grandpa's tractor. We've had it in the family since 1961, and he's restoring. He got it mostly painted. So the A was the next size up from the Cub in the letter series Farmalls. They had the Cub, the A, the Super A, the B, the BN, the C, the Super C, H, Super H, the M, Super M, MD, which was an M that started on gas and switched to diesel, the MTA, which was an M with a torque amplifier, the Super MTA, and that was the end of the letter series. Then they started numbering them. So I'm a red tractor guy, even though I've worked on a few John Deeres. I graduated from vocational school in agricultural industrial diesel mechanics, so I worked on the John Deeres, the old two-lung, Johnny Poppers we call them, two-cylinder John Deeres. And my daddy started me working on cars when I was 8 years old with him, learning how to change oil and tune up point-type ignition and change drum brakes. And I worked on cars, bicycles, small engines. Well, my first car was a 69 Dodge Coronet 440. I've had 3 Dodge Dakotas. Let's see. If I could get that 69 Coronet 440 back, I'd be tickled pink. I was always a Mopar guy. But I like the classics, you know. Remember the old Chrysler Imperials that were so big they took up 2 time zones? My grandpa always had the big Chrysler Town and Country station wagon for pulling his boat to Canada to go fishing. Had the 2 front seats, and the back had the backward facing seat, and we always fought over who got to ride in the back seat. So, my first Dakota was the first car I ever bought new. It was an 88. I drove it from 4 miles to 196,000 in 13 and a half years. Traded that on an 87 or 97 that had 60,000 miles on it. And when I sold that, it had 256. And then I wound up with my dad's 2000 Dakota that had 130 on it. And when I traded on this Transit Connect that I drive now, it had 190 on it. So, and they were all the 3.8 liter V6. And the 88 was a 5-speed manual, and the other 2 were automatics. But they were all 2-wheel drive, because even though we do get snow here in Ohio, I learned to drive in a blizzard, so we're down to 2 minutes on the timer here. I always tease people that drive their Chevy pickup trucks. You know what GMC stands for. Got a mechanic coming. Yeah, well, the 3.8 liter V6 was basically the 318 with the back 2 cylinders chopped off. Everything on the front of it was compatible with a 318. And that 88 Dakota was my first brand new car I ever bought. Cool, Bobby. And then this Transit Connect was the second new vehicle I ever bought. I bought it October of 2019. That's why I work at Sam's Club, is to pay it. As soon as I get it paid off, I'm going to re-retire. I'm on SSDI. But I filled up last Thursday on that Transit Connect. I drove it, take a friend up on Morse Road, about 50 miles. And then Saturday I drove it over to Dayton and back. I remember the Shelby Dakotas. Absolutely, I remember the Shelbys. Sure do. They came out. I bought the 88, which was the first year for the Dakotas. And it was a red one. And I had the bug shield on the front, and I worked with the church youth group, and the kids named it and got vinyl cut my bug shield. We called it the Admiral Halsey, because I was in the Navy. But we spelled it H-A-U-L-S-E-Y instead of H-A-L-S-E-Y. So it was the Admiral Halsey. Okay, there's the timer going off. So I'm going to let it go for about 4 minutes on keep warm, and that will naturally pressure release. And we drove that down to Myrtle Beach with the youth group one year. Took caravan of vehicles down and took 18 teenagers down to Myrtle Beach for a week. I think that wasn't exciting. But we rented 3 condos, and one condo was teenage boys and one was the girls, and the boys went to the beach one day, or they got up in the girls' condo while they were at the beach and stole their luggage and hid it in the back of my pickup truck, which had a cap on it. And they put ransom notes. Well, the girls agreed to the ransom, and the boys went down to get their luggage, and unbeknownst to them, I had taken my truck and moved it to a different parking space, and they didn't know where their luggage went. And no, you'd think there wasn't a dickens to pay over that. So then, for retaliation, the girls snuck into the boys there, and the 3 oldest boys, while they were in the shower, they stole their clothes out of the dryer and left them nothing but one-piece girls' bathing suits. And they had to walk across 2 parking lots of busy streets wearing girls' bathing suits to negotiate to get their clothes back. Oh my gosh, things you remember when you think about it. So, oh goodness gracious. That is a kick. I love it. So, oh yeah, we had the pastor's wife, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 other adult couples from the church, and myself. So we had 3 married couples and myself, so we had 7 advisors. So one of the young men was walking across the street down there to another condo, and he was carrying a bottle of root beer, which came in the brown glass bottle at that time. The police stopped him thinking he was underage drinking and scared the fire out of him. He said, "Honest officer, it's just root beer." And they sniffed it, and they're like, "Okay, all right, you can go." That young man now has got 2 kids that are like 17 years old. I don't think he's had a drink of alcohol in his life. I think it scared him out straight. I still stay in touch with him, and that was back in, gosh, that must have been in 89, 90 maybe. Only time I was ever in Myrtle Beach. I've been down there twice, first time and the last time. I do want to get back down to Meridian where I was stationed at, just to see what it's like. I know things have changed dramatically. Oh yeah, I actually got ordained in 2012. I said now I can marry them and bury them. But you know, God has a sense of humor too. If you don't believe it, look at the platypus. He had to do something with all those spare parts. So, yeah, at the Naval Air Station, we had 1,700 acres on base we could hunt and 15 lakes to fish in. And my buddy, in Massachusetts, I had built a tree stand, good heavy duty tree stand, because I'm not a little feller, never was. And that was back in 1978 or 79. He's got it up in Massachusetts that he still uses that tree stand today, almost 45 years later. That's how well I built it. He said, when you build something, you build it right. Okay, the timer just hit 4 minutes on keep warm, so I'm going to hit the stop. And we're going to vent. Let the steam flow. Well, you know what the one casket said to the other casket, don't you? Said, "Is that you coughing?" Or, you know that cemeteries are the most popular place around? People are dying to get in. Yeah, I think it's done now. Thanks for telling me that. Just about done. To coin a phrase, can you hear me now? There we go. You've got to shake over the sink to keep the water from going back down the sauce. And reach down here and get my tongs. Get a little bit of a mix here. I'm going to get a bowl. So in there is the finished product. And as you can see, the sauce is not watery. Pasta's cooked to perfection. So that took us, including prep time, under 20 minutes. Pasta's al dente. There's your frozen meatball. No longer frozen. Melts in your mouth. Pasta still has some chew to it. So, and that is all there is to making spaghetti and meatballs in the Instapot or the Crockpot Express pressure cooker. So, any other recipes y'all would like to see, feel free to comment. I'll be reposting this video. And otherwise, thank you all for stopping in. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Be blessed. And if you're in the Central Ohio area this Saturday, at a little Methodist church called Jacksontown, which is out east of Newark off of Route 40, Jacksontown United Methodist Church, they have a pancake breakfast every first Saturday of the month from 8 until 10:30, or 7 until 10:30. And we go out and meet out there. We call ourselves the Romeos, which is for retired old men eating out. If you're in the area, feel free to join us. It's $7 all you can eat. It's a good time. We meet out there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're in the Central Ohio area, meet us out there at Jacksontown United Methodist Church and come meet up with the Romeos and hang out with us. It's going to be this Saturday, April the 1st. No fooling. Hope to see you there. And again, thanks for joining live. Thanks for participating, and appreciate you all. You have a good day. God bless. God bless, and God save America. Take care.